Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here, and happy fall or happy spring if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, but hooray for a new season. I love how now that I live in New England, I'm very mindful and cognizant of when there's a change of season, because it is as if the sky and the trees have looked at the calendar and know that it is now fall, and the beautiful light show, color show is going on. Everything is starting to change. It's so beautiful. The temperatures are cooling off, which is lovely, and it's just such a fabulous time. And I also loved summer. That was great. I spent a month in France. Amazing. In fact, I was in France when I recorded today's episode. That was beautiful. I incorporated field dinners this summer, which was a long time dream. And I'm so excited that I did that. And I'm so excited that I was able to collaborate with the amazing Chef Erin Anderson and her team at Gather Provisions. It was so fun. In fact, it was so fun that I've decided to move that party inside. So we are launching our supper club, and it begins in October. That's going to run October through May. It's going to be the first Friday night of the month, and it is just an intimate table of 8. And it's a beautiful place to find community, to have a delicious multi-course meal that's provided by Gather Provisions. And then we're also going to have a speaker or a presenter each month, a master of her craft, who will come and share her goodness, her story, her journey, her expertise with us, and we can have a beautiful culinary, educational, and community experience once a month. It's so fun. So if that sounds delightful for you and you are local, then go to the website and sign up, or there's a link down below in the show notes. If you are not local, then how about you come for a farm stay and plan it when we have supper club, and you can just add that on. It's all so good and so beautiful. So as I mentioned, our first dinner starts in October. So October 6th, we only have a few seats left. So that's exciting. People are already on board for this good thing. And our presenter for October will be Chef Kelsey Skolnick. And she is a farm chef, a food educator, a community supporter. She's amazing. I'm so excited to introduce her to you. She is going to be a guest on a future podcast, but today's guest also has a culinary link, and she has just launched her very first cookbook, which is so exciting. And I can't wait to tell you all about her. Sara Garofalo. I hope you meet a new friend and they say their name so quickly, and I'm just doing the best I can. Sara Garofalo is an author, a certified intuitive health and life coach, an energy healer, and an Ayurveda counselor. She helps unleash your own healing power through food, pleasure, and spirituality. Sara's work is based on the belief that all humans are innately intuitive. Her food, her recipes, intuitive healing sessions, and coaching programs serve as a vessel to connect people back to their own God-given gifts. Sara lives in San Luis Obispo, California, with her 2 young children and enjoys spending her weekends by the beach or in nature where she can connect with her soul. And we've put all the links of where you can get to know her a little bit more down in the show notes. As I mentioned, she has launched a brand new cookbook and has just come back from a retreat that she held after her own extended stay in Italy. It's just dreamy, culinary, European, long stay travel goodness. So sit back and relax and enjoy this latest episode with my new friend, Sara.
Sara, I am so excited to have you here to introduce you to my just beloved community of podcast listeners, and also to have them get to know you while I'm getting to know you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Wendy, for having me. It's my pleasure.
Hey, so listeners, I was connected with Sara through our lovely KB, Christina. And what typically happens is I meet someone new, we're having this delightful conversation, and 3 minutes in, I'm thinking, oh, shoot, I wish this was a podcast episode. So now I am just making every new conversation into a podcast episode, and I'm taking you along for the ride with us. So Sara, I'm going to start by asking you what I ask the majority of our guests, and that is, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
In this season, I'm saying yes by sharing my vulnerable story. And finally, because it's coming out in the book, and I just realized while I was in Italy for 4 weeks that I've never shared this. Only a couple of people in my life really know what I went through with my body, and I share it with clients privately, but I'm saying yes to this, to sharing it and launching my book, Mangia.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. And please don't let me keep you from telling your story. Just share everything that's on your heart. I'm eager to hear it.
Well, the story is a long one.
I'm here for
and
it.
It includes, and it definitely has a spiritual awakening in it. It started when I was 16 years old, and I developed bulimia and then went into chronic dieting, which also spiraled into body dysmorphia. But thankful to my intuition and not, unfortunately, dietitians or psychologists, because I went through all of that, but they weren't really helping me with the root cause of my disorder, right? So I left home about after high school, and I started traveling the world looking for answers. And that's when I began my food spiritual awakening journey. I got introduced to meditation, yoga, like all of the esoterical,
Practices.
Practices, and got introduced to Ayurveda, which then I fell in love with it. I became certified, and I started my journey, which helped me heal my disorder, my eating disorder.
Can you explain, just define that method of eating?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ayurveda helped me to really get into and understand my body's wisdom, like your energy, what I call the energetic blueprint, which in Ayurveda is called dosha, is an eating practice that connects mind, body, and soul. And therefore, you understand that you have a constitution and you can use foods to help you manage your anxiety or depression and or constipation, and it's so beautiful to understand the mind-body connection, because otherwise I wouldn't have healed myself then later on for what I went through, like after 6 years of that first spiritual awakening, which, yeah, my story continued, but that's what Ayurveda is. It's a very ancient, holistic medicine that is designed to help you heal mind, body, and soul through food. Does that make
Yes, no,
sense?
absolutely. Thank you. No, I hear the
Yeah.
term and I can contextually place what it means, but I appreciate a definition from somebody who's not just
Yeah,
piecing together things. So thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, it can be intimidating for people who hear Ayurveda the first time, but it's actually quite loving and simple. I just like to break it down for
No, I
people. But
appreciate that. So please continue.
yes. Yeah, so then my life continued and I thought I was healed, but then I went into, my marriage and getting married, having two kids very young. And then it turned out to be an abusive relationship. And after 4 years, my body, mind, and soul were like shattered completely. Like I went to a doctor and he was like, if you don't change something, you're going to develop an autoimmune disorder. I wasn't able to get up from the bed. I had like pain all over my body, in my spine. Like I felt like a 90-year-old in a 26-year-old body. And that's when I, with the knowing that the emotional and spiritual, can affect the physical, right? I started what I call the most intense spiritual awakening I had in my whole life, which was divorcing, becoming a single parent in America, building a business, and trying to heal my mind, body, and soul, right?
Those are tall
But I had the
orders.
knowledge.
All of those are
Yeah.
really big things. I just want to acknowledge that. And to be 26 years old trying to navigate all of that, well done.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. And I just had to attune to whatever, you know, everything that I study, everything that I practiced until that moment, and realized that I wasn't the victim of my story, that I had the information and the knowledge to, you know, stabilize my body and heal my body while I was healing from
Sure.
PTSD and an emotional trauma, like reconnecting all of that. And at the same time, building a business with the knowledge that, I had acquired throughout the years. So there I am.
And raising two kids.
And then while raising two kids, yeah, on my own, and being very present with them. That's always my priority, is to be a present mom, however I can be most of the times. But yeah, I do my best.
Right. We're all doing the best we can with the
Yeah.
tools we have. In fact, right now, Amelia is knocking on the window of this courtyard. I am in France at my friend Jeff's house in this beautiful, dreamy courtyard. And she wants to watch her iPad. And the internet is a little bit finicky. And I don't want to lose
Yeah.
our connection, since me being at work right now is what allows us to be in France for a month. So she'll recover.
I understand.
Yes. Okay, so please continue.
Yeah, so about a year ago, I decided to, write this health cookbook, which it was everything that I applied to heal myself and also clients, because throughout the past 4 years, I also have been coaching clients through this, what I call now, spiritual weight loss journey, which is really informing people that weight loss is not the route that is going to take you to the inner freedom, and understanding that the emotional and the physical can affect the emotional and the spiritual will affect the physical, because most people really focus on adjusting the diet and the workouts, but it doesn't work because it's an incomplete code of becoming healthy. You know what I mean? So I combined everything with the recipes that I created during my journey of recovering from an autoimmune disorder. That's why the cookbook is going to be gluten-free and dairy-free. But I also realized that I didn't want to give up lasagna and pasta and tiramisu during my healing journey. So I did create those recipes attuning to my Italian roots and Ayurveda which is I would say like close to Indian recipes in Indian food. But I blended in and created this cookbook that is going to help. That's my hope. People that are chasing weight loss, that are trying to heal themselves from health issues. And that is my hope for women and men to find this cookbook.
That is so beautiful. Now, how long was that process of creating the cookbook? You said you were on your journey for about 4 years. In that time, you created a business around it as well. And then you've decided to create this cookbook. What was the trajectory of that whole process?
Yeah, the cookbook, it was honestly, I finished everything in 6 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Then it took another 6 months for the team and I to create it in, formatting it, adding the images, all of that. But when I focused on something, I'm like, I'm doing this. So I took every weekend when I didn't have the kids and I didn't have the clients to recreate the recipes and write down all of the cups and teaspoons and tablespoons. And I wrote the chapters of my book while I was in Italy for 10 days last year. So it's been like a 6 to 12 months process.
That's amazing. It's phenomenal what happens when we make a decision, right?
Yes.
Freedom is a decision away.
Yeah. And I really hope to actually inspire other people that are thinking to write a cookbook. And I'm like, think about that Italian crazy woman, single mom that, I didn't have much at the time, but with the passion that someone can have, if you attune to passion, you just can create anything. I have a small kitchen, but it's like wherever you are, you can cook for you and your children. So that's my hope. Follow your dreams and cook amazing food in a small kitchen. You don't need a big kitchen. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yes.
I love that advice. I also love that you said that you wrote the chapters of the book in Italy. You took yourself to Italy for 10 days. Say more about that, because I am a huge fan of the pattern interrupt and getting us out of our regular routines to do something that is dreamy and expansive and allows us to have time and space to either investigate what dreams are in our hearts, or give those dreams a little water and sunshine, or actually move those dreams into the 3D reality. How is it that you knew that that's what you needed to do to get to this portion of your project?
That's a beautiful question, because when I made the decision and, for 3 years at that point, I wasn't able to go to Italy due to COVID. I stayed in America. Italy got hit really hard.
Right.
And so I decided to write this cookbook. At that point in time, I missed my family so much, and my kids were about to go on vacation with dad for 10 days. And I said, I'm going to Italy and I'm taking my laptop. I'm doing this. I'm taking pictures and I'm writing those chapters. So I went home for 10 days, and I'm a big fan of shifting energies. So being in the energy of my country and re-meeting my Italian roots, my family, and feeling the love and this from the supportive community, but also really getting into that lifestyle allowed me to channel the book better.
Yep.
Especially because I have chapters about the Italian lifestyle and everything that I've learned, and really going back to my family home where I started having eating disorder, but it wasn't, it wasn't about Italy at the time. It was about me. That's my own journey. So it allowed me to like reconnect with that part energetically and to also reconnect with Italy and to really channel the story that you guys will all read in the cookbook. You know what I mean? So I'm a big fan of, reconnecting with your roots when you're trying to write a story.
Oh, that's so beautiful. How so for someone who just thinks that sounds amazing, how do you do that? So is that something that you coach your clients through in this holistic approach to weight loss, or is this just something that you do personally with shifting energy and doing things in this way?
I definitely coach. So sometimes I coach women with the body and food energetics and becoming intuitive, so healing that part of the body. But I also am a spiritual mentor. So yes, I do coach intuition and how to unlock your inner gifts and really understand energies, because I am clairvoyant. So during, so I've always been clairvoyant, but then after the divorce, through my spiritual awakening, I got trained by a famous psychic medium from the West, the Middle East, from America, from like Wisconsin. She's a very powerful one. And
Midwest.
I unlocked
from the Midwest.
Yes,
Got
thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. Midwest.
Yes.
And I unlocked my inner gifts that I did have. So right now I understand energies because I see them, I feel them. And that's what I do for clients who want to continue with me or want to unlock and really develop their intuition, which it can plays a vital role in like understanding relationships, or managing your business from an intuitive way, because that's how I run my business now, from intuition, not from like logic.
What does that look like? Can you give me an example?
For example, when my publicist was like, choose a date between 9/9 and 9/19, I said the energy looks better on 9/19 because I see it. I see two numbers and I see one full in the light and one not. So, or I get on a phone call and I'm about to invest, whether it's in a program or with another publicist or whatever I'm trying to do. And then intuition says, you've got to do it. Like I hear a yes, or I feel it in my body and I follow that, or I hear, no, you can't do that. Right. So, and I just have to trust that.
Right.
And every decision I've made, it turned out to be a blessing in so many ways. So again, I don't look at numbers, even though some people would be like, you got to look at numbers. And I do, don't get me wrong. I just don't come from that point when I make a decision. I don't look at the numbers and say, you need to follow what feels good. You follow the energy.
Right. I agree. Okay, so that's amazing that you are able to make these decisions and that are in alignment for you. And it's beautiful because it's your business and you can have that, you have that luxury also to, you're the beneficiary or the victim of these decisions in whichever direction they go. But how has that worked for you in your business? Because it sounds amazing. And then of course there is this conditioning, of being here, corporate America, that says, oh no, there's a bottom line and you need to use reason and be practical and all of these things. So I am unlearning that and leaning more into what feels good, and not in a way more than just that sentence, like, oh, that feels good to me, and I'm only available for what delights me. That's my
Yeah.
personal mantra. So when I say my personal mantra is I am only available for what delights me, that is not grounded on some frivolous whim that I just drive around in my convertible with my scarf blowing in the wind, on my way from one champagne house to another. It's
Yeah.
because I have a spiritual practice. I have a morning routine. I have a relationship with God. I commit to these conversations of through meditation, through prayer, that when an opportunity presents itself and I say, oh, that feels good, I'm going to do it. What I mean, and what I believe you mean as well, is an alignment, a quiet, a certainty that comes with it that doesn't always make sense to the people that love themselves a spreadsheet or have different stockholders that they need to report to or whatever. So there's a lot of conditioning and just widespread practice of a different way of doing business than the way you're doing it, than the way that I'm learning to do it. And I would just love to hear how you might coach people through the unlearning of listening to conditioning or what makes sense or what's practical, and to trust listening to their bodies and listening to that intuition. To a person that was maybe raised in a church setting would be the Holy Spirit, like listening to the Holy Spirit. And people that are have a more spiritual practice that's outside of organized religion would use the word intuition or this knowing.
Right.
I believe it's all the same thing. And it's just everyone calls it whatever they need to call it for it to work for them. And I'm totally happy. Call it God, call it a higher power, call it infinite intelligence, call it the universe, whatever you call it, just call it, because it's here for you and it has only your highest and best and wants you to live into that highest and best version of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are key steps in order to attune to what we call the voice of your higher self or the voice of your intuition. And again, like you said, I have clients that are Christian, they believe in Jesus, or people that call it the universe. The most important thing that I tell everyone is, like, if you believe that there is a higher source, of energy, then we're good. Then we believe in something, and that is key for this type of work.
Right.
Now, how I coach people is through these steps. So for example, at the beginning, like you said, if we've got to establish a practice, whether it's a morning or daily, like, is you staying in your energy. And I go in nature every day. If I can't, because I'm rushing around with kids, like, I make sure that I meditate. The purpose of this is stillness of the mind and to detach from thoughts or emotions so that you can also understand your own energy. So that when you go into the world, when you go into a meeting, you understand, okay, I'm so balanced right now that whatever, like, that person is projecting, or this anger or this sadness, it's not mine. So understanding your energy and the other person's energy. The second one is really getting into the habit of connecting with your body. So a lot of the time, these women or these men that are in corporate America, they really trust their head over their heart. And the new habit to establish is getting into the body with dance practices. I mean, I started to dance every night, like really shaking the energy so that you stop thinking and you start being. Or, you know, some people use workouts to be more connected with the body. I love the dancing because it's very intuitive. You start to let go of the how and you just move your body, right? The next practice is to start connecting with the higher source. And there are different ways someone can establish that, whether if you pray, but also like for me, it's like I use oracle cards every day. I use my pendulum every day. I sit in the meditation, a second meditation, and I connect with my spirit guides to understand or hear messages. And another practice you can also use, the other skill set, I would say, is for you to understand the signs of how intuition speaks to you. And, you know, you can see, feel, hear, and there is a knowing, right? So most people that are new to intuition, it's going to come through a feeling. So I tell them all the time, okay, have you ever met, it's your gut feeling, like trust your gut,
Right.
It's that quote of like, have you ever met a person and you immediately feel so tight in your stomach, and then you realize that that person was manipulating you or manipulating others, right? Manipulative. So we start to connect all the dots, and it's coming from usually a feeling most of the time to new people, right? And then other women say, I have a knowing that that's where I need to go,
right?
That I have to be at that event,
right?
And then if you continue though to work with your intuition, then you can develop, like, I've always been a clairvoyant. I have a friend that is not clairvoyant, but after 2 years, she's starting to have a little bit of a vision. And I'm not clairsentient, which means like I never heard words, but after 2 years, I'm starting to hear voices, right, of my spirit guide. So you can always develop more and more if you keep practicing every day.
I love that. So, and I know that, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, like they're buying a house and they're looking at all these properties and they go into one house and like, I just knew. I knew this was the house. I knew this was my wedding gown. I knew this was the boy. I knew this was, you know, whatever, the car I had to have, the restaurant I needed to go to, what I needed to order. So we are practicing this all the time.
Yes.
Without, you know, I just felt like taking different route to the store, and I happened upon a garage sale and found this gorgeous thing that I want for my house. You know, it's just one thing leads to the other, and there's all of these synchronicities that as soon as you start to give them attention, they show up more. You're just more in tune to this is happening, but it's all happening all around us all the time.
Yes.
And it's just waiting for us to jump in and enjoy it and bask in it and find our path.
Yes, it's allowing yourself to receive these signs and trusting them. Yeah.
That requires a lot of unlearning as well.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, because we must unlearn the conditioning, you know, that we've been hearing all our lives. Like, for example, weight loss. You turn on the TV. That's why I don't watch TV. And there are so many advertisements on how to lose weight, and literally they make you feel awful all the time. So that's what I tell people, like, protect your mind, your space, your energy by turning off everything that is you're trying to unlearn from, and just attune to podcasts, to, you know, radio shows, I don't know, to YouTube videos, to whatever that is in alignment with who you're trying to become.
Right. Exactly. That's such great advice. It's who you're trying to become.
Yeah. It's really, I would say, the best way to reprogram your subconscious way in a conscious way by attuning to those podcasts, attuning to those videos, and just listening to that, because that's going to keep you at a high vibration.
Right. Right. It's garbage in, garbage out. And the same is when you have really good positive things in, that's what the outpouring is. I've done that definitely with media and what I take in. I've also done it with friends, and I'm making a face because that is not easy, but there are times, and I think I was going to say there are times in my life where I just need to be around positive people, but actually the time from a few years ago going forward for the rest of my life, I just want to only be around people that have positivity and are interested in growing and seeking their highest and best as well. Absolutely. And working toward that. And negativity and lack is just, it's not enjoyable for me to witness and to be around. And we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And so I want to highly curate that group of people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And realizing that like all of these people will affect you in some ways. So make sure you choose them wisely. I keep my circle small to the people who like really have that energy of expansion, right? Of the growth mindset, and that they have a similar path to mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, not that I'm trying to bust into your small circle, but we do have something fabulous in common. At the time of this recording, Amelia and I are in France, and we are halfway through our month here. And you just spent a month in Italy with your kids, and you also had a fabulous event during that time. Can you tell us about your month here with your children and how that was? And obviously you have family there, so that makes it a little bit easier. But tell me about that trip and then what you were able to achieve on the other side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a dream that came true for me to be able to spend a month in Italy after the divorce with my 2 children and introduce them to really the Italian way. Like they have been obviously there with me since birth, but like speaking Italian and seeing grandparents, but really spending a month there is key. We went to the sea and we ate, amazing food every day. And they were able to practice Italian with family, and feeling the sense of community was truly amazing. Not that I don't have it here, but it's just different when you have family and people that know you. Reconnecting with like past acquaintances that actually supported me in my first women's retreat, because I went there and led my first women's retreat. It's a very like intimate circle, but we stayed at a luxurious resort from the 1500. And I curated this 6 nights, 7 days of soul healing retreat, which it was my dream since before COVID to lead people into like really the experience of embracing the Italian way of being, like getting off the fight or flight of America, right? Like these women that are, very busy working women, and they can't relax, going back to Italy or going to Italy for the first time and realizing that we need to slow down, that we can sit down during a meal and have a conversation, and to attend to pleasure, which in Italy, like the pleasure, the way you dress every day, the way you walk, the way you like choose foods that like gives you this amazing sensation, right? And feeling in your body, and gelato every day, and while leading healing sessions to help them, and reprogramming our brain and our energy, really attuning to that. So that was a very special moment.
Oh, I'm sure.
In my, life and career, and I'm living my dream life. Let's just say that.
Isn't that
Yeah.
the best? I feel the same way. I feel like everything that I'm doing now used to be a dream, and now I'm here. So, and now I have new dreams,
Exactly.
which is so exciting.
Exactly. Now there are new dreams.
Right.
But yeah, Italy was amazing because it's really conveying the Italian way from an Italian,
Right.
perspective. And they're like, yeah, we want to come with you because you understand. And they were able to absorb my energy with other Italian, which, seeing me speaking Italian, witnessing how I started to like have a different accent, different tone of the voice
Oh, wow.
in Italy. So that's what they all said was really, really special.
Oh, that's amazing.
To
So they
yeah,
already knew you, but they saw you really come to life.
in my element.
How beautiful to have
Yeah.
witnesses.
So
I'm so
yeah,
happy for you. That's gorgeous.
yeah, I'm so blessed that
Congratulations.
they all came. Yeah, they got activated. They're also happy. They're wearing their Italian dresses now when they go to a coffee shop, and they are tuning to like, they're really stepping into the feminine way. That's what it is of being. Because honestly, the corporate American woman that is very much not her fault,
Right.
pushed into the masculine.
Right.
And we need to come back to being in our power as women, being in the feminine way. So that's what Italy was for.
I love that. Italy is great at that. That is for sure. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So tell us a little bit about the book. Tell us how we can follow you. Are you doing more retreats? Was that just one and you're never doing it again? I can't imagine that.
No.
So, right? It's like, I'm counting the seconds till the next one. So tell everyone what you're up
Absolutely.
to and how they can be in your orbit.
The upcoming Mangia cookbook will be released September 19th, and it is a blend between Italian and Ayurvedic cuisine for mind, body, and soul, gluten-free and dairy-free. And you can, follow along the journey either on mangiacookbook.com or Love Holistic Living on all platforms. That's my name. And yes, I'm going to reopen up the Italy retreat for next summer. So if you're interested and want to join the wait list, I will send out dates at the end of the year.
That's
because we're doing it again.
Yay, of course you are. Oh, that's amazing. And we'll link everything in the show notes. But this was so lovely, Sara. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your journey and just your beautiful light with the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.